So, in the previous class, we have completed the causes of the First World War. And after the First World War, what happened? And what are the consequences of the First World War? Today, we are going to discuss. So, this is about the world after the First World War. And you know, the First World War ended by 1918. After the end of the First World War, after so many discussions, some treaties were done between the victorious and the defeated countries. Among them, the Treaty of Versailles. It is an important treaty. The treaty was done between the Allied powers and the defeated powers. Thus, the treaty was held in Paris. In Paris, the Palace of Glass. The Palace of Glasses. So, under this treaty, the victorious powers laid so many humilious terms and conditions. Humilious terms and conditions were imposed on the defeated countries in the Treaty of Versailles. And also, the major empires, Austro-Hungarian Empire or Ottoman Turkish Empire, were dissolved and broken into pieces, and they became either democratic and republics. Republic of Turkey and the Democratic of Austro-Hungary. And also some new countries were formed after this breakup. These are the new countries were formed after the Treaty of Versailles are the Austria, Hungary, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia and Estonia, Latvia, Finland, etc. These are the important newly formed countries. So, these are the important things about the Treaty of Versailles. Okay, the terms and conditions which were imposed on the defeated countries are two types. One is the monetary terms and the territorial terms. So what are the monetary terms and territorial terms? So under the monetary terms, total the Allied powers, the victorious powers came to one conclusion that for all the loss, only the defeated countries, especially Germany, is the responsible for that First World War. So, how much they lost in that First World War? At least they wanted to recover that amount from the defeated countries. So, they imposed compensation on Germany and other defeated countries. These comes under the monetary terms. Under the monetary terms, the victorious countries imposed the compensation for the First World War on the defeated countries. Okay, what are the territorial terms? Territory means it is the land's territory. Belongs to land. And these territories, so large amount of the territories of Germany were given to the France and other countries. And also in the Ottoman Empire also, their colonies in Africa are also distributed to the victorious countries. So these are the effects of the Treaty of Versailles. If you get a question about the Treaty of Versailles, you have to write the answer like this. The Treaty of Versailles was held in 1919 in Paris at Palace of Glasses, and in this Treaty of Versailles, so many humilious terms and conditions were imposed by the victorious countries on the defeated countries. Among them, These are the two types of terms are imposed, the monetary terms and the territorial terms. Monetary terms is nothing but, so imposed the compensation on the defeated countries, it is the monetary, and territorial countries, the defeated countries' territories were distributed among the victorious countries. These are the territorial terms. So due to that, with the result of the Treaty of Versailles, finally the great empires, Austro-Hungarian Empire and Ottoman Turkish Empire were broken up into small nations. They became either republics, democratic republics, and after that, after the division, some new countries were formed. These new countries were Austria, Hungary, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, Estonia, Latvia, Finland, etc. So this is about the Treaty of Versailles. In Treaty of Versailles, the new organization was formed. That organization is called as the League of Nations. This League of Nations was formed on the 11th January 1920. In the beginning, it had only 58 members. 58 members. So what is the League? It is a group of nations, group of some countries. What is the aim? What is the aim of this League of Nations? You may get the question about what are the main objectives or the aims of the League of Nations. Or you may get the question, write about the League of Nations. How can you write? So League of Nations was formed after the Treaty of Versailles, after the First World War. It was formed on 11th January 1920, and at that time only 58 members were there in the League of Nations. And the main aim of the League of Nations to prevent the wars. Prevent the wars. How can they prevent? To prevent the wars by solve the disputes among the countries by the negotiations. Negotiations means discussions, with the discussions. And also to reduce the armament. It means disarmament. Try to disarmament. To disarmament. It means reduce the arms. Reduce the arms in the world. So when we reduce the arms, automatically it leads to the peace. So finally, to prevent the wars and maintain the peace is the important aim of the League of Nations. But its objectives, its main aim was closed, and League of Nations failed to prevent the Second World War. And we know about the Second World War. So finally this League of Nations failed to prevent the future wars. But somewhat it helped in the sections of welfare. So for the labor welfare, for the health sector, so the League of Nations worked more. So many success stories about the League of Nations in the field of health and welfare sector. But they failed in only prevent the wars in the future. So this is about the League of Nations. So League of Nations was established in 1920, 11th January 1920. It had 58 members at the beginning, and also the main aim of the League of Nations is to prevent the wars and maintain the peace in the future, and also to reduce the arms, or otherwise, how can we call it, disarmament. Try to disarmament, and to settle the disputes among the countries by the negotiations. So finally the main aim is to stop the wars in the future, and also for the welfare and other development. But of course they failed in preventing the future wars, the League of Nations worked enough in the health sector and the labor welfare sectors. Children, after the Second World War, so many incidents took place. Out of them, the Russian Revolution is also called as the Russian Socialist Revolution, took place in Russia in 1917. It was the most important incident in the world history. Actually, in Russia, during the First World War, the Russian Revolution took place. Due to that revolution, so the Russia made an agreement with made a treaty with the Germany and came out of the war. So we have here, there are two revolutions are there in Russia in 1917. One is small revolution and other one is the big revolution. So the first revolution, okay, in olden days, before the time of First World War, the Russia was ruled by the Tsars. What are the Tsars? Tsars means emperors. Who are the Tsars? Emperors, kings. Tsars ruled over the Russia. Russia was a vast country. It spread over the Europe and Asia. So it is called as the Euro-Asian power. And also, it had the third largest populated country in the world. The main occupation in the Russia was the agriculture. Agriculture was the main occupation in the Russia. Even though they had the agriculture as the main occupation, the majority of the lands were in the hands of feudals with the landlords. So majority of the lands were in the hands of feudals, landlords. The small farmers and the common farmers, generally, they had paid the rent for the land which they tilled. For using that lands, the small farmers paid the rent to the landlords, feudals. So this feudal system and capitalist system was there in the Russia. Actually, during the war, even though Russia is the largest army in the world before the First World War, but during the First World War, almost 2 million of army and common people died in that First World War. And also, huge amount of the food products were shifted to the war front. Due to that, shortage of the food was created in the country. The common people were unable to get the sufficient food in those times. And also, the Russian economy was declined. It was worst in the position. It was in the worst position. So the people tired of the military activities and military action, and they are tired of the war. They were not in a position to continue the war because of lack of food, lack of bread. They eat the bread. And the prices rose up. So many economical disturbances were there. So in that situation, on the March 8th, 1917, the women, about 10,000 women, demonstrated against the Tsar, demanding the peace and bread. What is peace? To stop the war. They wanted peace by stopping the war, and they want food for themselves. So their main demand is peace and bread. So By demanding peace and bread, the 10,000 women demonstrated. They held the dharnas. And due to that, the Tsar Nicholas II, Tsar Nicholas was irritated and ordered his army to suppress that rally, suppress that women, even by firing at them. He ordered firing orders also. He gave the firing orders also. But the army did not do like that. And army also joined with them. And the workers joined with them. Within the 2 days, it became big demonstration. And the position in the Russia war became worst within the 2 days. So this was the first revolution. So due to that position, the Tsar was unable to maintain his position. So suddenly he escaped from the country. Why? So the first revolution was ended by the escaping of the Nicholas. This is the first revolution. It is March 8, 1917. Actually, the Russians, they followed the Julian calendar. What is that? Julian calendar. But overall the world, the people, they are following the Gregorian calendar. Gregorian calendar. We also following the Gregorian calendar. Until the 1918 January also, the Russian government also followed the Julian calendar. Actually, Gregorian calendar days 13 days ahead of Julian calendar. So actually, in the Russian history, this revolution is called February Revolution, and this revolution is called October Revolution. But there is a difference in the Gregorian calendar and Julian calendar. 13 days difference is there. Due to that, according to our Gregorian calendar, this revolution took place in the March. Even though they called it as the February Revolution, it is took place in the March, and this is took place in the November. So October Revolution, March Revolution. But according to Gregorian calendar, it is the February Revolution, March Revolution, and November Revolution here. So finally, after the escaping of Nicholas, the liberalist and other persons formed a temporary government. They formed a temporary government. Okay, that government led by them. But that new government, that provincial government, temporary government, the provincial government wanted to continue the war. Why they decided to continue the war? To save the honor of Russia, to maintain the dignity of the Russia. And they expected they could win in the war. So they wanted to continue the war. But the people were tired. They were not in a position to continue. So the people demanded to put the end to the war. So the people were in the despair. They started to form like the groups. They formed in the councils. That groups were called councils. And again the councils were called as the Soviets. What are that? Soviets. Soviets means councils. What is that? Councils. Groups of people. They united in the Soviets or councils. The workers, Soviets, and the former Soviets. Like that, so many Soviets were formed. In the same time, the rural people in the Russia were united under the Communist Party of Russia. What is that? Communist Party, Communist Party of Russia. They are also called as the Bolsheviks. 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 The Communist Party of India, that was the major party based on the communism ideology, and they were also called as the Bolsheviks. They supported the Soviets. So under the leadership of Communist Party, the Soviets demanded the nationalization of factories, nationalization of banks, and redistribution of lands. Which land will be redistributed? From the landlords. They would take the lands from the landlords, and that land would be redistributed. That is the main demands of the Soviets. So the same demands are supported by the Communist Party of Russia. So automatically they got the support from the Soviets, and with the help of the Soviets, the Communist Party, the Bolsheviks, put the end to the provincial government. They had taken the power from the provincial government. They formed a new government under the leadership of Vladimir Lenin. Vladimir Lenin. He was the Bolshevik leader, Vladimir Lenin. Under his leadership, the provincial government was changed. And when they came to power, they started the steps to end the war. So made an agreement with Germany, and they put the end to the war, and they tried to establish a new type of economy, and they tried to rebuild the economy, and they redistributed the lands, and they nationalized banks and other things, factories. So almost they fulfilled the desires of the people. But of course, they had taken the power from the provincial government. They had taken the power from the provincial government. But the power did not transfer to the Bolshevik because of the civil war. The civil war broke out in Russia. What is that? Civil war. In the civil war, the White Army led by the monarchist who supported the kingdoms, the people, the monarchist, and the anti-communist army also. The White Army, one is the White Army, and although the anti-communist army supported by the Britain, USA, France. The Britain, USA, France, of course, with the Russia they worked together in the First World War, even though they were opposite to the ideology of communism. They were the capitalist countries, so they opposed that communism, spread of communism. So they supported the White Army and anti-communist army. Okay, finally in 1920, the White Army and the anti-communist soldiers army were defeated by the Bolsheviks in 1920. So they got the complete power from the provincial government. The government was changed completely. Then they gave a chance to get the independence of some nations. But though most of the countries who were under the Tsar ruling before, they joined in USSR. USSR, what is that? The USSR was set up by the communist Bolshevik government of Russia, communist government of Russia. That is the Soviet government of Russia also. Here. Okay, after death of Lenin, the new leader emerged. He was the Stalin. Is the Stalin? Stalin. Stalin was the powerful leader. He suppressed all his opposition. And he implemented economical reforms. So he tried to rebuild the economy of Russia. He started the planned economy. You know the 5 years plans in India. The 5-year plans were started first by Stalin in Russia in 1928. 5-year plans. 5-year plans in Russia were started by Stalin in 1928. So this is the economical reforms program. In this program, he had the two main factors. Two main programs were there. First one is the fast industrialization. What is that? Industrialization. Fast industrialization. And the second, collectivization of agriculture. Collectivization of agriculture. So he concentrated on agriculture and industrialization. What is collectivization of agriculture? The small lands were merged into large area, into large plots, and people together as a group, they have to cultivate that land. So that is the cultivization of, what is that? Collectivization of agriculture. So by collectivization, they got the so many benefits. What are the benefits of collectivization? You know, we can easily cultivate that land. We can get the irrigation, and by the mechanization of the agriculture sector, we get more profits from the collectivization of agriculture lands. So due to this collectivization of agriculture, they got good crops and fast industrialization took place. These are the main things. So Stalin, when you get a question about the Stalin, after the death of Lenin, Stalin became the Bolshevik leader. He was a powerful leader. He suppressed his opposition and he implemented the planning economy. That is the 5-year plans introduced in 1928 by the Stalin. And also in his program, two important programs for this. First is the fast industrialization and the second is the collectivization of agriculture. So this is about the Stalin. Finally, Russia industrialized and modernized, and they tried to implement all the ideals of the revolutions. But some of the persons, due to that suppression, due to that violation, due to that violence, they did not agree to the real equality and real liberty. Real liberty and real equality was not acquired by the people. So the famous writer George Orwell, he wrote a novel, Animal Farm. George Orwell wrote a novel, Animal Farm. In this novel, this is the satirical novel. In this novel, he explained how the ideals of the Russian Revolution, were suffered in the period of revolution. And in his opinion, Russian ideals of equality, liberty were not achieved. So he explained satirically in this Animal Farm. So you may get the questions. Who wrote the Animal Farm? George Orwell wrote the Animal Farm. Okay. After the Russian Revolution, so many countries inspired by the communism and socialism, and who wanted the equality and liberty. That countries tried to form the communist governments in their countries also. So Russia, USSR supported that type of countries. And in our India also, M.N. Roy, Rabindranath Tagore, Jawaharlal Nehru, they were the socialists, and they inspired by the socialist revolution of Russia and communism of Russia. But even though they have not agreed the violence and suppression, they did not agree the suppression or violence and the violation of the freedom in the Russian Revolution and the communism, they inspired by the communism. And so many countries became as the communist countries in the future. After the First World War, we have seen so many important incidents took place in world history, just like we have discussed in the earlier class. Russian Revolution, and after that, the significant incident is the economic depression. It began in 1929 and lasted in the 1939. It took almost 1 decade. So what is economic depression? So disturbance in the economic sector, disturbance in the economy of the world. So it is nothing but decline in demand. So the economic depression caused by the decline in demand, fall in prices. Due to the decline in demand and fall in prices, the economic depression was created in between the 1929 to 39 till the beginning of the Second World War. This economic depression was continued. So in this economic depression, the demand for the produced goods was declined. The prices were reduced, fall in the prices. Automatically, the industries started to produce limited goods. They produce the limited goods to improve the demand again. When they limited the production, automatically the prices were risen up. When they limited the goods, the prices were risen up. It is okay. But as well as prices rose, again the purchasing capacity of the goods was decreased. Due to that, again the demand for the production was declined. This is the cyclic pattern. What is that? So listen carefully. First, the demand for the goods was declined. And when the demand was declined, automatically there was a fall in prices of that goods. So to increase the demand, the industrialists produced limited goods because there is no correct price. They were not profited by that price fall. There was a fall in the price. So they produced limited goods. When they produced limited goods, somewhat demand was increased for short period. But the prices increased. Due to that increase of prices, the purchasing capacity of the people was declined. Due to that, again decline took place. So decline to fall in prices and short. What is it? limited production of the goods and rises in the price, and finally it goes to the decline in the demand. So due to that, so many factories were closed, and many people, many labor who were working in that factories, they went outside and they became unemployed. So unemployment increased enormously all over India. Unemployment was a major problem. Okay, when they came outside of the factories were closed and they lost their purchasing capacity again. Again it leads to the decline in the demand of the goods, and the other factories were also closed. So this is continued in cyclic process. So this was the economic depression. So first in USA, share market was collapsed, and after that it spread all over the world. So all the economies of the world were declined in the economic depression of 1929 and 39. Majority of the countries, maximum countries, they fall in depression. So this is about the economic depression. Okay, the economists and the politicians tried to find out the causes of that economic depression and causes of that depression and find to solve that problem. They gave so many statements. In that, for example, Marxism, you know the Marxist. The Marxists argued that for the economic depression, only capitalism is the cause. Due to the capitalism, the economic depression broke out. That is their statement. Okay, what is the solution in their ideology? They argued and they stated that by implementing the socialism and the communism, and by nationalizing the factories, by taking all the economic activities by the government, we can control the economy. Then only we put the end to the economic depression, in their opinion. So in their opinion, capitalism is the main cause for the economic depression. And to avoid that capitalism, then we can get rid of that economic depression. Okay, the J.M. Keynes, famous economist, J.M. Keynes. J.M. Keynes, in his opinion, he advised the states, advised the governments to invest in the public sector. The government should invest in the public sector to increase the demand. To increase the demand, government should invest money. Then automatically the demand of goods will be increased and the employment also will be increased, in his opinion. So J.M. Keynes advised the state would invest the money in public sector. Then only the demand would be increased. And finally, especially US government, President Franklin Roosevelt became the president of USA, and he proposed a new deal of economy. His proposed economy was New Deal. So Franklin Roosevelt introduced a New Deal policy. In New Deal policy, there are 3 R's are there. The first one is the relief, and reforms and recover. What is relief? Under the New Deal policy, to give the relief to the victims of depression, the nations which were declined their demand due to the economic depression, under the New Deal policy, the USA will help to that victims of economic depression, and they give the relief to that countries and reform. What are the reforms? The reforms would be taken place in the economic institutions. So reforms would be taken in the economic institutions and recover. What is recover? Again, the economic system will be recovered. It will be get its previous position. So this is relief, reform, recover. So you may get the question about the New Deal policy. The USA President Franklin Roosevelt introduced a New Deal policy. In this New Deal policy, there are 3 R's are there. Those are the relief, reform, and recovery. Relief for the victims of economic depression, and reform in the economic institutions, and also recover the economic system. So this is about the New Deal policy. Along with this New Deal policy, the Roosevelt government introduced a universal pension systems and like our old age pensions, and he introduced a schemes for the physically disabled persons and the children who had no family. He helped that children also. He provided their education, and he introduced a unemployment insurance also for the youth. And due to these welfare activities, somewhat he recovered from the economic depression. And of course, the Britain also, before the economic depression, they started these welfare schemes in their country. They also provided the old age pensions and unemployment insurances, and for the child welfare schemes, and for the education. So in the economic depression, to recover from the economic depression, the ideology of welfare state formed. Welfare state, the state which provide the minimum needs for all the people who are living in those country. The welfare state means government. The welfare state will provide the facilities for all the persons, all the citizens. Next, how the economic depression affected the Germany. The Germany was, how the economic depression affected the Germany. Let's learn about that. Okay, due to the compensation of war imposed on Germany, it led to the severe problems in economy. Almost the victorious countries also faced the economic depression, but the lost country lost their properties, money, and the lives. The defeated country, Germany, hit by this economic depression more. So automatically, to recover, to get rid of that economic depression, the Germany government started currency printing on large scale. He printed currency notes on large scale. So what will be happen? Due to the printing of currencies on large scale, automatically it reduced the value of the money. When we print more currency, the value of that money will be declined automatically. So it is said that in those times people carried carts of currency notes to buy a single bread. To get a single bread, they carried large amount of money in the carts. So it shows that the money value was declined. So by the printing of currency, the money value was declined in Germany. And also by 1932, industrial production 40% was decreased. 40% of the industrial production was reduced when we compare to 1929 level. When we compare to 1929 level, 40% of industrial production was decreased by 1932. So by this we can estimate the loss of the Germany, how it was affected with the depression, economic depression here. And also more than 6 million people, they were unemployed, especially youth. In those times, they used played cards and they were in charting. And without any work, they charted and they played cards and they participated in illegal activities and also in criminal activities. The youth diverted to the criminal activities because of lack of employment. They became unemployed. They are not in a position to get the money. So they were diverted to the criminal activities in those times. The more than 60 million people were unemployed. And also some people who they generally, you can see in those times in the streets, some people stand with the placards. On that placards, we are willing to do any work. On the placards, they wrote, we were willing to do any work. So what is the meaning of that? The situation is showing us that there was a very critical unemployment position was there. Due to that, to get any work for their livelihood they wanted, and also they showed placards. Those placards, on that placards, they wrote that we are ready to work, we are ready to do any work, we are willing to do any work. So that is the worst economical conditions were there, and the women, they were unable to feed their children at least. So this is about the economical depression effect in the Germany. And also what about the middle class people and salaried employees? Okay, they saved money for their total life, but the money value was decreased by the extra printing of currency. The money value was declined. Due to that decline in the value of money, they were also affected severely, the middle class and the small business people and other people. And also agriculture prices were decreased, and most of the farmers stopped cultivation. So trades were decreased. And to control the economic situation, the governments were changed, government by government. They failed to stop that effects of the economic depression. So this is about the worst conditions prevailed at the time of economic depression in Germany.